Hello everyone, it is March 24th today. This is Tyler from Socrates Training. Yesterday was a very interesting day in the market, and this was Mondays often tend to be tricky days for trading. There's a lot of adjustments that take place from the week before, and it's just a real test of someone's abilities. And for me, it was actually a very red day, unfortunately. I was down almost $10,000 on the day, so pretty hard hit, honestly. But I think other people have been in the same situation, and I want to show everyone where I traded. So yesterday, March 23rd, I was using my Charles Schwab account. Now, my first trade was Aytu. They've been getting a lot of attention. So, unfortunately, okay, so this is yesterday, mind you. I only scroll here so we can see how this played out. And here we go. Okay, so as we can see here, let's zoom in for this huge virus. But okay, so we were up over almost 190. This is right at opening, 9:30 opening bell. And I'm going to zoom in here, so just give me a moment. Typically, I use more of my Ameritrade account for day trading, but sometimes I switch it up and use my retirement account. Okay, so here we go. This is opening bell. This is our first ticker here. This is I saw this first minute ticker and I thought this was going to continue, and it did. We got up to almost 194 there, right at the opening, and unfortunately, I jumped in 194. I thought this was going to continue. There's going to be more. Looked like a good indicator. So then we went down here, and I was holding quite a big position, and this was where my biggest loss was. I lost 6,000 on this trade, and it was just poor timing. I mean, I should have waited a minute more because it was I could have came back here. So we can see from here there's a lot of volume, and then we fast forward to this point, and then I actually jumped in again with not as many shares, and I bought on this candle at 170, and I took that one up to 178, and then I sold off. We then see that it kind of leveled and then came down and had slow trajectory upwards, and I then bought in again around 1010. Yeah, it looks like 1010. We can see the volume down here. Bought in again on this candle, not this one. I was in at 188, and I rode this one to 197. Just a scalp trade, and then I sold off. I recovered some of my losses, but unfortunately not enough to fully recover. And this is kind of how the stock was trending for most of the day. It was kind of went down, and then this would have actually been a good bounce trade. I then bought in once more here. It was just small position. It was right here. We got this first move up, and then kind of went down, and I saw this seemed like a good position, and this was our first candle. This was a clear indicator we were about to move up more. So I'll zoom in here so you can see this better. Okay, so here we go. Right there, we were at 182, and then I got in at 183 on this second candle, and I rode this one up to the top here until 186. So just another scalp, and then I sold. And like I said, I recovered some of my position, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. It was only about 1,000 from those smaller scalp trades. So that was Aytu. Now, The next stock I traded was Google, and Google's actually overall been probably almost bottomed out here. But Google's a stock that's better traded for long-term investment rather than short-term. And I'll show everyone why that is. Now, so this was Google. They've been down big time. Just a month ago, Google was at over $1,500 a share. This is obviously a huge company. There's a lot of volume here, and I thought we were going to have a pretty solid bounce today based on indicators. Based on the Fibonacci charts, and just there's been a lot of indicators there that they're ready to make a bounce. And as we can see on the day, they were down 1.3%. Now, unfortunately, so if we look here, we were pre-trading around 1,080 a share. Now, I had placed an order right at the beginning of the trading day, and we took this big red candle here. Now, I bought in around 1,080, and this is 1,065. So not a huge decrease, but unfortunately, it was with the amount I was holding, I was around $10,000 worth. I still went, still lost a fair amount. Now, unfortunately, then I traded this one again right here, around 1,040. I thought we had just about bottomed out, and then we got all the way to this point. We had this huge drop off, almost like 3.5%, pretty decent amount for being Google. And by this point, I sold off. It was terrible. On this one in total, I lost around $3,000 on Google. So long term, though, Google is probably a good one to hold on to. Now, the next one I traded was GRIL, which is GRIL Muscle Maker Inc. And interesting stock. Not a lot of volume here. This was more of a bottom. On this particular stock, I'll show everyone what I did is we can see it kind of bottomed out here. Not a lot of volume, honestly, as we can see. Very little volume coming in, but they reached all the way to 1.72, and that's when I came in on this green candle at about 1.77, and I rode this one up, actually all the way up to around 1.98, and then I sold that. That was not a big position though, unfortunately. The next one I did was Novan, NOVN Incorporated. Well, okay, this is Novan. This is a very interesting stock this week. I was also green on this one. You can see, I'll scroll over so we can see how this moved yesterday. This one was great stock to buy at the open here. We can see all this upward movement along here. If you had bought in right at opening 55, you could have rode this up until around 73. This would have been a huge move. But on NOVN, what happened here, I'll show. I actually I bought in right here. It was around 67. I think I was at 67.2 a share, 67 cents, 0.2. And I actually rode this one up until around 73, and then I sold. Not a huge position, but on a penny stock, that was a pretty good scalp, honestly. And we can see right here, I mean, this is clearly upward trending. I mean, if you look at this clear matchstick here, this was a good indicator that this one was really had a major move, and it indeed did. Textbook, actually. The last one was TVIX, which is just an index fund. Technically, people aren't trading TVIX like as a day trader, but these index funds have been real interesting this week. And unfortunately, I took a pretty heavy loss on this one. This was actually where my other, apart from Aytu, and I'll tell you guys why I did this. Because, so if we look here, open, we gap down big time from around 547 to 584, more or less. And then we came back up here, 677, and I thought this was going to continue. I bought in right at the top here. I thought it was clearly going to go up, and unfortunately, it didn't. It continued down and down, and then it came here, and I was still holding, and I thought it might bounce back, but it just went more sideways and down, and I ended up selling around 610. It was pretty significant, like 15 to 18% there decrease. So position was quite large. I took a heavy hit on that, but TVIX, I mean, that's been interesting when we look at how it was last week. I mean, if we look at on the week, it's been a very it's had kind of an interesting trajectory. I'll change the chart here to show everyone. So TVIX hit like almost 1,000 or just over 1,000 at its high point, and now we're sitting at 408 just in a matter of like 4 or 5 days. Unbelievable. Look at this. Now, if we look at this further though, from like, this is from March 16th to now, I mean, we can see the number it was at was actually much similar to where it is now. I mean, so yeah, TVIX, like other index funds, has been very volatile because of the economic issues happening. So that was all my trades. Give me your feedback below, and have a nice day.